104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports. The National Football College Championship is behind us, but still kind of a little bit of a hangover for our man Bill Bender. And Bill, let's just start with your overall takeaway from the championship game.
Well, I mean, it's Tua. Tua came out, and I said wow at least 4 or 5 times in the second half. And obviously in overtime with the 2nd and 26 pass, it was an amazing turnaround in that game. So I think it's really about what he did and what that means for the future of college football. And if you're not an Alabama fan, you're in trouble because he's that good.
I kept watching this game thinking, wait, this is Alabama's backup quarterback? I get he'd been in some blowout games before, but was there ever talk during the season that he should have been the starter over Jalen Hurts from the beginning?
Well, as you guys know, I talk on the radio quite a bit because I'm a big mouth. And I talk a lot of the Alabama guys I talk to, and they were raving about Tua all the way back to spring ball last year. And for him to kind of have this coming out party in the national championship game, trailing by 13, and just start spinning the ball the way he did, and there was this, like, as I wrote for us today, an odd couple dynamic between him and Saban. Like, Saban was joking around on the podium. It's going to be a very fun relationship. For the people that liked Lane and Saban, they're going to love Tua and Saban over the next few years.
Bill Bender of the Sporting News with us right now on 104.5 The Team. All right, so Tua comes out, and in completely uncharacteristic form for a true freshman, just as you said, spins it, goes out, wins the game. Hurts has only lost, 2 games as a starter. What's the quarterback situation for Bama moving forward?
Well, that's funny. I'm already, because I never stop working, I'm looking at, they're not the only quarterback controversy, though. That's a big one. I mean, but there's one at Clemson with Kelly Bryant and incoming number 1 recruit Trevor Lawrence. There's one at Ohio State with 3 guys that want to replace J.T. Barrett. There's one at Michigan potentially. I mean, Patterson might play, but I mean, Brandon Peters will look to get that job. And these aren't just good teams. These are teams that are going to compete for the national championship next year.
And I'm going to add one more to the mix, Bill. How about Georgia? Jacob Eason's on the bench, Fromm's the starter, and they signed the number 1 player in the country this year in this year's recruiting class. For the Georgia Bulldogs' future, it looks bright right now in Athens. Do you consider this Georgia team continue to get back and back to the college football playoff and maybe a national championship again in the future?
Well, I'll put it this way. I don't know if they're both going to get in consistently because it's just hard to line it up that way. But Georgia-Alabama is going to happen again in Atlanta with these quarterbacks. I think Fromm played a whale of a game last night.
Yeah.
The 80-yard throw to who was it? It was Hardman. Yeah, he threw it over the top to Hardman. It was amazing. I mean, he was throwing it on the button on 3rd down all night. So, I mean, couldn't be more impressed with the quarterback play last night. And I'll say this, and I'm not making it a contest between NFL and college, but these college football playoff games, I don't know why people are complaining. It is great the way it is right now.
Well, you say that, but then you've got UCF hanging a banner saying they're national champions, Bill. I mean, is it good enough now, or is it one of those where you've got to go 8 so you can get like 3 at-large bids and take a team like UCF and actually have them lose on the football field?
Well, I mean, since I've been talking to you guys, and we've done this for a few years, I was pretty staunch about the 4-team playoff at first, but I've evolved a little bit on it. I still don't think what UCF is doing is productive, other than if they're trying to market themselves for the Big 12, because that's the best way to do this. I mean, Utah and TCU were in UCF spot. Boise State's been in UCF spot. Utah and TCU used it to go to a power conference, though, and it's an unfair structure. I get that, but I don't know. I just don't know that, Penn State was a playoff team, and they might get in, or USC might have got in, and after the bowl games, it was pretty apparent that they weren't a playoff team.
For so many years, it seemed like it was going to be blasphemy that anyone ever suggests that Bear Bryant's not the best coach in Tuscaloosa. After another championship for Nick Saban, is he not just better than Bear Bryant, but the greatest college football coach of all time in your mind?
Yeah, he is, and he's in the other conversation now when I'm talking about greatest coach of all time. The guys like Wooden and Kay and Belichick, and I'm leaving out one. I like Phil Jackson and Red Auerbach, obviously. I think Phil Jackson's right up there in my book as well. But unbelievable. Unbelievable that I think when we look back at this in 10 or 15 years, like the three of us can look back at Miami or Nebraska and with some fondness there. This is unlike anything I've ever seen. 5 and 9 years, 6 overall. And, I mean, with Tua, guys, it looks like they're going to have their best version yet coming over the next few years.
Sport News is Bill Bender with us right now at 104.5 The Team, talking national championships.
All right, now take us through what happened for you, because you're at the game, you're working for the Sporting News. You watched the game-winning touchdown happen in overtime. Take us from when the ball's caught until like right around now and what's happened over the course of the last 12 hours for you.
Oh, it's been a whirlwind. One of my favorite writers in the business is Pat Forty, and he was a couple seats down, and he does just a phenomenal job at Yahoo Sports. And I just kind of looked at him, and I was like, wow. I was like, are you kidding? That because I was up in the press box when he threw that pass, and, you go from 2nd and 26, Georgia coming off kicking a 51-yarder, and then Tua makes this incredible throw that I can still see it in the air, and it's like confetti explosion, game over. And it was amazing to see, and then I got back to the hotel, still juiced up, wrote a little bit, and, your listeners can check out some of that at Sporting News, and then got on a plane. Guys, I was doing push-ups in the airport terminal to stay awake.
Bill Bender with us right now from the Sporting News on 104.5 The Team. So, Bill, I'm looking at the early odds to win it all next year. Of course, Bama 1, Clemson 2, Georgia 3, and then Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. You got any issues with how it's laid out so far?
No, those are the teams, the usual suspects. Michigan comes in and I forget which one of you two is the Michigan grad. We're a Michigan fan, right?
Yeah, I'm not that smart.
We got a Michigan fan on here, and they're always going to bet up with Harbaugh. I will say this about the Harbaugh hot takes. I'm not as hot takey about him. I think things will improve on offense. I do believe they have a very tough schedule next year. It comes down, there's only one criticism that lands to me. They got to beat Ohio State. Right. Everything else, if they beat Ohio State, chances are all those other things will fall into place anyway.
Bill, it's funny, you bring up Harbaugh, and then he's, similar to Saban to me in a way, as like they're two guys who have been successful at both levels. Any chance either one of them ever returns to the NFL in your eyes?
Well, I think Saban won't, because he's at an age where I think this is last stop territory for him, and there's absolutely no reason to move up. I never get caught up in the Harbaugh NFL rumors because I just don't see him leaving with those unfinished business things done, like Michigan not winning a Big Ten championship since 2004, not beating Ohio State. I don't think the Michigan State thing is as pronounced as people think either, considering they lost one of those games on a punt fumble and the other in a monsoon where John O'Korn threw 5 picks and they still had a chance to win to the end of the game. But that's just me on that. Like I said, I try not to hot take Harbaugh. I might be one of the few.
Well, Bill Bender, we appreciate you. And one last thing too. I just happened to glance at your Twitter. What is Angry Bender all about?
That's the best.
You got to check a few of those out. I mean, we'll do some of that later next year. I've had a lot of fun with that. Our video guys are great, and we turned me into a cartoon, so that was cool. But college football, there's a lot to love, a lot to complain about. But I think, again, between the Rose Bowl, what I watched last night, and just the playoff chase in general, it's still the best regular season in all of sports. I'm biased, but we can already point forward to 2018. I think it'll be just as fun.
I can't get enough of Angry Bender. And also, just by popular demand, Levack and I speak for him, I'm sure here, we want version 2, the second era of the 2018 Bill Bender slam dunk competition on the Fisher-Price hoop. We're going to put in our submission and hope we get another version of it this year.
I might, but you know what? We got a real hoop in the yard now, so because my kid's a little bit bigger, so I could try it on 8 feet.
Nah.
The most frequent submissions for me to do a volume 2 were Dominique Wilkins and Sean Kemp. So I'm going to have to do my homework on some of these.
Yeah, I think at some point I'd like to see Goz go against you in a mini hoop dunk off.
We can make it happen, hopefully, somehow, some way.
Guys, there's 5 inches of snow in the driveway right now. I think we'll both fall and bust our backside if that happens.
Yeah, but at least it's cushioned. Bill, man, we appreciate you, and hopefully you get a little bit of downtime, but we all know that won't happen because you make college football 365 a year.
I love it, and I appreciate it, and thanks so much for having me on.